The end is nigh, folks. I think at this point, it's really Vegas's cup to win. And I don't like saying that. I know, I've said this before, but I don't like the Vegas Golden Knights. It's because I'm a Canucks fan, and I'm jealous that they're doing so well as a brand new NHL team, or I guess just a new NHL team. They're not the brand new team anymore. But yesterday we had ourselves Game 2, Vegas versus Florida, and this was an absolute slobber knocker of a game. 7-2 is the final score for the Golden Knights, and I guess the one stat that goes out there and encapsulates the entire shift in feelings towards this finals matchup was tweeted out here by Jesse Granger earlier yesterday. The Golden Knights have now scored more goals on Sergei Bobrovsky in 84 minutes than the Hurricanes did in the entire Eastern Conference Finals series. And that first game in the Eastern Conference Finals series had more than 84 minutes of just overtime. Against Carolina, Sergei Bobrovsky had how many goals against is that? 2 goals in Game 1, 1 goal in Game 2, 0 goals in Game 3, and 3 goals in Game 4. So a total of 6 goals against in the 4 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, against the Vegas Golden Knights, Bobrovsky has 4 goals against in Game 1 and 4 goals against in Game 2, with all those goals coming in the first half of Game 2. He had a .692 save percentage, and now the Golden Knights have a stranglehold on this final series. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say that it's a guarantee that they're going to win, but I'd say it's more likely than not. I think even MoneyPuck said the odds right now are like 89% for Vegas to win the cup, but I don't want to go out there and say it's definitive. Mostly because you can never be too sure with these things, and secondly, the Vancouver Canucks had a 2-0 series lead against Boston in 2011 and they lost, so anything is possible with a 2-0 lead. But what that Boston series did not have in this 2023 Stanley Cup Final Series was the team up 2-0 absolutely just dominating the performance. It was different because in Vancouver, they barely squeaked out 2 wins. 1-0 Game 1, overtime win in Game 2, so you could say, okay, 2-0 series lead, it's nice on paper, but they were close games. These Vegas-Florida games? Nah, not close at all. Sure, you could say at the beginning it's always 0-0, but it always ends up running away for Vegas. The Florida Panthers, I don't know what's going on, dude. It's not only just Bobrovsky, but it's everybody else. It just feels like they don't want it anymore. Maybe, just maybe, this is a hypothesis, you can go out there and prove me wrong in the comments, maybe having the Florida Panthers takes such a long break between the Game 4 win against Carolina and Game 1 of Vegas, maybe a week-plus long break for them was a bad thing. Maybe. Just speculating out there. But I'll go out there and say this, that when it comes to Vegas being the ultimate victor here, at the very least, their team this year is a lot better than it was in 2019, or 2018, excuse me. This is a deeper team, they're more skilled up front, their top-end talent, I think, is a lot better. And the storylines have written themselves. Jack Eichel is going to win himself his first Stanley Cup before Connor McDavid. Mark Stone, with all the uncertainty around him, is going to come back after being injured for a good chunk of time and win a Stanley Cup too. You're going to have Jonathan Marchessault, maybe winning the Conn Smythe because that guy seems to score every freaking game, especially now against his old Florida Panthers team. The storylines write themselves, and now it's going to be even longer before Roberto Luongo gets that opportunity to raise the Stanley Cup, because down 2-0, things are not looking great, although I will say he was a part of the Canucks squad that blew the 2-0 lead and eventually lost in Boston, or against Boston in 2011, so who knows, maybe there's some Uno reversal card pulled here. The Florida Panthers need to get their game together, man. If you want to see not just a Stanley Cup Final Series that is tight, but actually engaging to watch, then it's better for everybody if Florida gets better. Not to say that the Games 1 and Games 2 were boring by any means. There were big hits, fights, scrums, emotions running high, but when a game is 3-4-0, when there are 4 goals scored on 13 shots or whatever it was, it's tough to really say, okay, yeah, I'm still tuned in. I'm still here for the ride, baby. I'm sure if you're in Vegas and you're in T-Mobile Arena watching the game live, it's fun. You're seeing all the goals. You're seeing the conflict. You're booing when your guys get hit. You're cheering when Matthew Tkachuk gets swatted at by Adin Hill. It's probably a fun experience in the arena, but for the rest of us here in our living rooms watching these games, it's like, okay, come on. We're just waiting for the game to be over because we know it's going to be a 2-0 series lead. Heading back over to Sunrise, though, the defense, they gotta be better. They've got to do a better job at shutting down those Golden Knight chances, those rushes, limiting turnovers, too, especially in your own end. And Matthew Tkachuk's got to find a way to play a 60-minute game. Not literally 60 minutes, but just stay in the game for the entire game. How about that? Was it worth it for him to get kicked out? Was it justified? I don't know. You can let me know in the comments all your opinions about that. But the fact is, he needs to find a way to play and actually do what it is that Matthew Tkachuk has been doing this entire time to get to the Stanley Cup Finals in the first place. At the very least, this team was down 3-1 against Boston, so they do know what it's like to come back and win. But at the same time, Vegas, I mean, they're playing a much more confident game at the moment than Florida is. They're really going to need to rely on their talent carrying them forward, and it's just unfortunate because that talent hasn't shown itself off too much in the first 2 games. They're a better team, I feel. Like, if you were to compare the top talents and the peaks of both of these teams, Vegas versus Florida, I do think that Matthew Tkachuk can be a better player than Eichel. I do think that Barkov, Stone, there's a Barkov winner in there. There's younger guys, there's depth. I feel like there is a very strong talent profile for what the Florida Panthers have. It's just, they're not playing well. And all it takes is one series where you go cold to have your entire season derailed and thrown down in the dumps. So, Sunrise, y'all gotta do your best to go out there and cheer your cats on, man. The Florida Panthers have a chance to come back, but it's not likely. Meanwhile, Vegas, all you gotta do is win 2 in your next 4 games, and you've got the Stanley Cup. That's crazy to think about, man. Jack Eichel getting it done before McDavid. Ooh, boy. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your opinions about the Stanley Cup Final Series we have had so far? Again, we're still not streaming the games. I watched yesterday's game, part of it at least. I was doing a barbecue with my friends outside, which was nice. I really needed to relieve myself, you know? Just get away from the computer screens and everything because, yeah, life's been tough. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vegas Golden Knights and Florida Panthers Stanley Cup Finals Series. Vegas has taken the 2-0 lead. Do you still believe the Panthers can come back and win this one? Can they win 4 in their next 5 games? And the reason I say it like that is because they can only afford 1 loss. If they lose 2 more times, they are out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.